Good morning, people. Oh, I'm sorry. I should say good evening. No, good night. Greetings, folks. Greetings. Boy, I'm so used to doing these talks in the morning, but it's 10:12 p.m. Today is Saturday, beautiful Saturday night in New York City, showing the beautiful skyline, November 20th, 2021. Yes, this is a very quiet time of the day. In bed, relaxing, and I watched a video that I purchased quite a while ago. The name of the video is called The 13th Floor. The 13th Floor. I was recommended this movie from a YouTuber who was to discuss what is reality. And he shared about the world being a hologram. It was the first of its kind that I saw. And he had a series. And at the end of each show, he had a homework assignment. And to watch, the assignments were to watch certain videos. So actually, this was my very first video that I purchased. The 13th Floor. And I think it made me uncomfortable. I watched the initial time, and I avoided watching it afterwards. I would see it. In fact, I forgot what it was about. My mind was very close to it. And just recently, I think it was this month or last month, someone who I know, made reference to it. And I think I watched it today because of the vision that I had earlier today. And I did the live stream about that vision that I had, that I saw a village, an old village. It reminded me of something that would have been in Europe, and I was thinking in Britain. It was amazing. It was hard to see in detail, but I believe it was something from the past because of the vehicles. It was very faint, but it looked like a buggy of some type. It was a carriage, and the very large wooden wheels. Wish you could see it clearer. I stayed home today. Kept it pretty light. But I said, I'm going to go to bed. Sorry about that. The stream gets interrupted. I don't know whether it's done on purpose or not. But either way, I said, maybe it's time that I watch that video again. Yes, good night. Bonsoir out there. Yes. Yes, say hello in the chat room if you wish. Yeah, I'm just getting started. Yes, I want to talk about something. I think it's I think it's something very important. Trying to find out what this reality game is. You know, if everything's starting to like collide together, too many coincidences, too many. I mean, I should say the themes keep on repeating itself. Remember the guy from Facebook? He said that he's going to initiate a virtual reality social media. And why? Why now? There are already virtual reality forums out there. You know, I did try it before, a couple of years ago. I didn't quite understand how I was able to jump into the forum. Yeah, it's an open world out there, and you can interact with other people. Um, think of it like a Zoom, but you just going into a VR world, and you're able to move about in there through the you know the the hand tools. It could be spooky for me. For me, it was too spooky. Um, yeah, I threw it out. I threw out my VR goggles. They cost a lot of money. I said I don't want this. Um, yeah, I threw it out a couple of months ago. It could have been maybe 3 months ago, 2 or 3 months ago. I threw it out. I was downsizing. I said, you know, I got to get rid of stuff. I had so much clutter, and I threw out maybe 1/3 of my belongings. And you know how I feel now. I want to throw out another third of my belongings if I could. I need more room, more elbow room. But anyways, um, yeah, Facebook founder wants to create this game, and I asked myself why would he do something like that? Why would he? I'm not sure whether he's giving up Facebook as we know it and completely switching it over to a VR game. That I'm not sure. So anyone who's listening, if you know definitively what his plan is he going to phase out Facebook as we know it and initiate a new um, platform, which would be the virtual reality, you know, the simulation interaction social media? Well, that would be very interesting. Why are they interested in things like with reality? It's becoming more mainstream. And again, like I'm going to get to the title of this live stream now. I indicate about is Antarctica. What is really Antarctica? And I'm wondering whether it's actually the a clue regarding the VR world, the holographic world. And that's what I'm speculating, you know? Yeah, that is the speculation in this, what this whole topic is going to be about. So I hope you can hear me. And if you understand what I'm talking about, please press a 1 for yes and a 2 for no. This is really going to be an interesting topic. So, I'm going to try to connect the dots. So, Facebook is going to initiate this VR game. I mean, really get into it. And I just watched a movie that I have been avoiding for a while. I had an aversion to it. Now I bought. It was my first movie that I bought, and it made me uncomfortable. I think because it deals with the holographic world, and being that earlier today, this morning, upon awakening, I had a vision, and the vision was my seeing a village, a an old-fashioned village. Things were made out of stones. It reminded me of something that you might see in Britain, on the countryside. That's what it reminded me of. And I saw a carriage, the large wooden wheels, a large carriage, a vehicle of some type. And then it was moving fast forward or reverse, like you could, like in a movie camera, you could speed it up, slow it down. So I started thinking, and I was reminded about the movie that I had, and I took a look at the thumbnail and said, let me play it. I don't understand why I'm avoiding it. I think I just saw it once, but I just had an aversion to it. It was made in 1999, the same year that The Matrix came in. But I think The Matrix came out maybe 2 months sooner, something like that. They came out the same year though, and it didn't get as much publicity as The Matrix. And as we know with The Matrix, it was a similar theme, right? In a holographic, computer simulated world. Isn't that interesting? Two production houses, in essence, talking about the same thing, that something hijacks something else and enslaving humanity. At least that's what The Matrix was about. But this movie, The 13th Floor, it's a different spin on it. This one is to find out, okay, you have, how am I going to explain this? You have a so-called world, and they created an artificial reality. But then that artificial reality builds an artificial reality. And they were, the first world entered into the second, and then entered into the third. It was getting confusing. But it turns out that the so-called real world, the first world, had a wife, and he was going mad. He was jealous of his wife because the wife was falling in love with one of the characters. So he committed murder. In this game, like the so-called real world could go and download their mind in an avatar and take over that avatar, that body, and do things with it. And then they have to leave. So it's almost like a possession. And one of the characters in the second world was somehow found out what the life really was all about, that the world is fake. And he wanted to warn a coworker to say, hey, shut down the program. But before he could do so, he was killed by the husband in the primary world, the so-called real world. Isn't that a twister? I mean, I've heard of something like this that you have. I've heard discussions that you have these scientists, computer scientists, and they create these games, and that the characters in the game could later on develop a personality, a soul. I mean, it sounds so wild. Doesn't it sound wild to you that someone can create something and it could form a life of its own? It's almost spooky. So, so in the end, the ending was the husband. I guess going into this holographic world, the husband was losing his mind, and he does get killed at the end. And the personality of the character that this lady liked, the husband and wife, well, the wife was falling in love with one of the characters, and that character uh, somehow gets into the husband's body. And she says, I got a lot to teach you. Yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting. It was a new world that he was living in now. But what if this whole world that we're in right now, you have these scientists that are creating things with their computers. I think it's an infinite world. That this is, I think this is part of a holographic world, or simulation of some type. About that, sorry about that, the connection that keeps happening. Yeah, you have to really ask yourself, what is the whole importance of this? So, like right now, what's happening all over the world, it's like a meltdown. Like you've heard the expression that you're having a reset. Have you been hearing that expression lately? We're going to do a reset, right? What are they really getting at? There was nothing really broken, but they want to reset the game. Why? It's getting too tight. Getting too, you can only do so much, and things start to fall apart. I mean, you hear about all these people researching about ancient history, and they had all this wisdom and knowledge. So how come people with so much wisdom and knowledge, why do they destroy themselves? It seems like humanity can only go so far before they um, kill themselves. Well, I hope that's not where this world is going. It would be a perfect world if people, if we learn how to just relax and just enjoy the moment. What if this is really an artificial world? So, like in the movie, the 13th floor, they got to drive, and when they drove, they got to the end of the hologram, and you see the rays of light. Like, for example, I had a VR game, and I had this one that was a driving simulation. You could pretend that you're driving, but at one point you could only go so far. It doesn't go to infinity. There's like a wall, and you cannot go beyond the wall, so to speak. So that leads to the Antarctic. Now, I've been hearing things, these, um, what do you call it? These, oh, I forget what it's called again. It'll come to me. But like all these reports about the Antarctic, and I did watch a couple of days ago about Admiral Byrd. He was a rear admiral, and he flew to the Antarctic. And there's a like a base there, and it has a special treaty that only a selected nations, nation heads, I should say, have access to Antarctica. There's rumors that they have underground bases, that the Nazis are there, and uh, ETs are living there. But who knows? So there is people are barred. You can't be just a regular citizen and go there. It's off limits. Why this protection? Why do they want to protect a snowy place? And then you have what's called the flat earthers. You've heard of those that group, flat earthers. Yeah, but you have people believe that this world is flat, and they start to argue. The flat earthers against the globes, the people who believe in a globe, and they argue with each other. Why all this, you know, concern with the, what the shape is? Well, I think if you say the narrative is one thing, it might expose information, and they want you off limits to it. But going down there, I believe, I'm speculating, again, I don't know. I am speculating that the reason why that it's off limits is because they're hiding something there. And maybe the Antarctic, Antarctic, according to the flat earthers, is actually a ring around the known continents. Like with the UN has a map, and it's encircled in something. The Antarctic. What if that is the end of the hologram? And it's the source of the computer simulation. And so they have these people from periodically, they, what's that? My thoughts now. They're up to something. They are up to something. Yeah, you can't go there. What if they're really hiding? Yeah, so the flat earthers want to promote one thing, but the globals, as I would call them here, they don't want you to know that. And they'll get really huffy. What are they really hiding, people? Why all this thing with the UFOs? Can it be that they're trying to set us up for a major holographic simulation. They put in the type of, the president who they have in now. Why do they have him? Why they're all forcing this stringent policy for a cold? You got to get inoculated. In Europe, I watched this one YouTuber from Europe, and he's very upset, and he wants the bullying to stop the mandate to having to get a vaccine. Do you trust those vaccines? I read what it can do, and I'm a little scared of it. And I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. This world is possibly a hologram, and the government doesn't want you to venture out. Why don't they want you to venture out? We could go visit other continents. Why not? Because maybe this whole war is a distraction, and that they might need more souls to navigate the um, other bodies. I mean, it sounds very, very wild. But you have to ask yourself, what is the whole motive of what you do? Why everything is okay? You have to do this policy now. More and more, our lives are being dependent on computers to set up appointments, even setting up appointments for us to meet. So we're able to now have meetings over the internet. Yeah, it's changing very fast, this current world system, and they're using a lot of coercion for this initial transition, for a code, something that over 99.9% of people who are exposed to it, that they're all right. Just a fragment has to go to the hospital. I think it's deliberately, as they call it, a reset. But in order for them to have a successful reset, they have to kill off a lot of people. And that's horrible. Very, very horrible. So that type of thinking has to stop. It's fake. They're getting like more, just look at the people. You have more and more people who don't seem to know what they are. They don't know what gender they are. Now you have this reset, and to do certain jobs, you have to be inoculated. And in Europe, some parts of Europe, they're really cracking down on people. Very severe. And that they'll throw you in jail. So hope the U.S. doesn't go that route. Yeah, this is a new stage in life. But I think the answer to everything is that we need to stand our ground. There's always going to be something. And if everyone gets inoculated, it's going to be something else. You need a booster, you need this or that. Yeah, I think it's a matter of destroying and then the rebuilding. That is what they want to do. They want to rebuild the type of bodies that we have. They're putting people's, could be a face, a limb, all these things. It'd be really interesting. What is your perspective in all this? Do you think this world is a hologram, a holographic world? And why do you think they don't want us to go to Antarctica? So my speculation is such. I think they don't want us there because they don't want our energy there. There's a lot not being told. And be wary regarding these things on social media. Stand your ground and protect yourself. Do not look for trouble. And take care of your family. Yeah. So I'm not going to talk too long. But I really wanted to share with you about the 13th floor, about an artificial world, and how the bodies were also like the avatar, you know. It's really something. Yes, start questioning. And I invite you to purchase that movie, The 13th Floor, and see if it's relevant to you. Yes, so with that last note, ponder those things that I discussed and see if it makes any sense. So, have a wonderful night, peace, love, and joy, and until next time soon, take care and enjoy the rest of your night. Bye-bye.